Coming up, the president of the American Bar Association speaks to ICT about her history-making role. An Indigenous man is working on his own sobriety while trying to help others. And we have an update on the fires in the West from our reporter in Montana. I am Aaliyah Chavez. Join us for those interviews, plus headlines from the ICT Newscast.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.
Arizona State University welcomes 3,500 Indigenous students from Arizona and across the nation. It serves one of the largest populations of Indigenous students among U.S. colleges and universities. We created a sense of place for tribal nations to create futures of their own making through community outreach and research, taught by world-class Indigenous faculty where they see a reflection of themselves and their experiences. Find community at ASU.
Hopa. Thank you for joining us. We start today in Washington, D.C., where the Farm Bill is once again up for renewal. The deadline to pass one of the largest and most important appropriations bills for federally recognized tribes is on September 30th. The timing can be tricky, though, because Congress members are still on their August break and won't convene again until September 5th. It is one of the most important omnibus bills that funds everything from rural development to federal food programs and broadband access. In 2018, the Native Farm Bill Coalition was able to get 63 tribal-specific provisions in the legislation, which was a historic first. These provisions opened up funding opportunities and pilot programs for tribes. The hope for the 2023 Farm Bill was to turn those pilot programs into permanent fixtures. This September will also be tricky because Congress must also pass a budget. One group of House Republicans have said they will not support a temporary spending bill without significant budget cuts. In Oklahoma, the largest tribe in the U.S. is fresh off a major election. Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. and Deputy Chief Brian Warner have officially been sworn into office along with other leaders. More than 1,500 people filled the Chota Conference Center to watch the historic moment. Hoskin was first elected to the position in 2019. This is his second term in office after winning nearly 63% of the vote against three other opponents.
Fellow Cherokees, the work of this century will be the work of generations. It does not fall on the shoulders of one chief or one council. It is vastly bigger than one term of office. Those of us sworn in today and those of us continuing in office will serve for just a speck of time together. We're merely stewards of offices that belong to the people of this young, great, and vibrant nation.
That was part of Hoskin's inauguration speech. Under the Hoskin-Warner administration, the Cherokee Nation has faced major hurdles, including an ongoing battle with the state's governor, Kevin Stitt, over tribal sovereignty. Well, hundreds of motorcyclists gathered recently in South Dakota to support and celebrate Indigenous military veterans. The third annual Veteran Warriors Ride took place earlier this month during the second weekend of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. The event aimed to provide resources to veterans while raising awareness of the group's homelessness crisis. U.S. Marine Corps veteran and Oglala Lakota citizen Shawnee Red Bear Keith helped organize the event with the Indigenous motorcycle club Red Drum. Red Bear Keith is her tribe's veteran services officer and said the ride is becoming one of the most popular at the rally. Native Americans have served in the U.S. military in every major conflict for more than 200 years. And while the ride is geared toward those veterans, anyone can join in the hour-long ride from the city of Sturgis to Rapid City. In Oregon, a tribal nation has reached a historic agreement with the state, but not everyone is fully on board. The Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde can now issue hunting and fishing licenses to its tribal citizens for the first time. However, those licenses will only count toward subsistence and ceremonial harvests. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife held a 7-hour meeting to hear testimony from the public. While many Grand Ronde citizens were in favor of the move, others, including citizens from the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, have a different perspective. They say alongside their own tribe, the Umatilla, Yakima, and Nez Perce have treaty rights at the Willamette Falls, and any state regulation would diminish their treaty rights. The new agreement could spark a federal lawsuit, and in the end, the commission voted 4-3 in favor of the agreement. Staying on the West Coast, an Indigenous-owned company has plans to close the digital gap in underserved communities. Toptana Technologies is an infrastructure and technology company owned by the Quinault Indian Nation. The company plans to increase the quality of life for tribes and rural communities along the Pacific Northwest through digital equality. The idea is to connect isolated regions by installing undersea infrastructure for rural communities that currently have little or no internet access. Toptana's fiber optic network is planned to have minimal disruption to the community and the environment, with 100% of the terrestrial network existing underground. The project will run along I-5, offering efficient interconnection from the Olympic Peninsula to Seattle and Hillsboro, Oregon. And those are the headlines for the ICT Newscast. Earlier this month, Mary Smith, who is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, was sworn in as the president of the American Bar Association at its House of Delegates meeting in Denver. ICT's Mark Trahant was there.
Mary, DTLEE, is the Cherokee word for lawyer. It encapsulates Cherokee humor because it means someone who talks a lot. But it also means someone who speaks on purpose and with purpose. As you take this oath, continue to live a life of purpose, advancing justice, and continue to speak with purpose on behalf of those that require your voice. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support.
This year's meeting of the American Bar Association was, well, as we say, indigenized. John Echohawk, the historic leader of the Native American Rights Fund, was honored for his contributions to Indian law. And Mary Smith took office as president of the Lawyers Association. She has so many firsts on her resume. She is the first person to have served as both president of the Native American Bar Association and now the American Bar Association. She worked in the White House and has led the Indian Health Service.
Many of us in this room have been trailblazers in our families, in our firms, in our professional lives. I stand here with deep gratitude and a consciousness of the responsibility. I applaud all Native women who have been first. Wilma Mankiller served as the first principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. As a first, Wilma faced many challenges in life. She routinely had to dig deep to further her purpose. Wilma famously said, "Cows run away from the storm while the buffalo runs toward it. When I am confronted with a challenge, I do not prolong the torment, I become the buffalo."
I talked to President Smith in Denver.
It's a lot to be representing the American Bar Association. We are the largest voluntary bar association in the world, and I'm particularly cognizant that I'm the first Native American woman to hold this role, and I think that means a lot to the Native community, but to a lot of other people too, because if I can inspire just one young person, I will feel especially honored.
Then there is a long history involving Native Americans and the law.
Well, I think our Constitution was based in part on the Iroquois Constitution, so there's a long history of using legal principles from the Indigenous community, and I find that it's interesting now that it's kind of merging with me being in this role at the American Bar Association. I hope one of the things that I'm able to do just by merely being in this role is helping to educate people about the history of Native Americans in our country and also about all of their contributions, but also the legal contributions as well.
Even with that history, the number of Native Americans who practice law remains small.
We have a lot of work to do because Native Americans still represent less than 1% of the legal profession, and they represent a higher percentage of that in the population. And as you know, Native Americans are one of the fastest growing populations in the world. And I think we have to start young. We have to be in grade schools, high schools, certainly colleges, to tell Native American students that, yes, if you want to be a lawyer, that is a possibility for you. And I think the more we can get people out there, programs like PLSI are fabulous, and we just need to do more outreach, because I think if people can see it, then they can aspire to it.
And that includes more Native Americans being appointed as judges.
They are. There's many administrative law judges. There's judges in state and local governments. We need Native Americans at all aspects of the legal profession. And that's one of the things that I do say to young Native lawyers and young Native students. I think that a lot of Native Americans feel that if they're going to be a lawyer, they should practice Indian law. And if that's what their passion is and that's what their calling is, I am so heartened by that. But I would like all of them to think I can practice any area of law that I want. If I want to be a corporate lawyer, if I want to do M&A, if I want to do intellectual property, I would love to see Native Americans in all aspects of the legal profession, including all kinds of judges as well.
The new president of the Bar Association sees this as an extraordinary moment in the history of the country and of the law.
Well, I think we are at an inflection point in our country. We've seen a lot of different changes. The law is constantly evolving because the law touches everything in society. And the legal profession is still not representative of America, and we have a lot more work to do, and it starts with, I think, education and young people.
In Denver, Mark Trahant, ICT News.
Visiting with family and relatives will help us from feeling lonely or socially isolated. COVID-19 changed everything, like our ancestors who survived war, famine, and epidemics. Our elders had to make sacrifices too. The more we are socially connected with our family and community, the less health problems we will have and the longer we will live. We need to stay active to keep our spirits alive. Remember, you are not alone. Connected together, we will stand strong. For more information on elder, isolation, or caregiver resources, go to connectedindigenousElders.org.
In Bismarck, North Dakota, Mandan Hidatsa Arikara Nation citizen Garrett Vigen is connecting addiction resources with those that need it. Here is a profile of Garrett's work on the Recovery Connection Conference.
From rural segments to capital cities, Indian country is being overwhelmed by the opioid crisis. Enter the Recovery Connection, created by Mandan Hidatsa Arikara citizen Garrett Vigen. The event welcomes everyone to Bismarck and Mandan, North Dakota's first ever collaboration for recovery support services.
I'm doing Recovery Connection. It's a recovery event. We're trying to get the newcomers to be exposed to all types of recovery fellowships and trying to find, the place where the people you fit in with,
Garrett knows firsthand how hard it is to look for support when he first started his own road to recovery. Mentorship, he says, was an important step towards learning to help others.
So when I finally decided, I had enough with that life, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of humility, and there was a lot of struggles, a lot of pride. I had to kill my ego and my pride. I also had a lot of help from sober living. They kind of forced me into recovery and trying to be in a fellowship and, finding the road to recovery. And it was tough. And when it actually kind of clicked, I began to start helping others instead of trying to see what I can get out of life and try to see what I can contribute to life instead of taking all the time, because that's all I did in my addiction. And I guess there wasn't a specific moment. There was always, I wanted to make my recovery better and to try to, I always kind of didn't fit in everywhere. Or like not really cliquey. So I always tried to, join in with other people. And I thought, why not make an event for people that feel this way? And it just began to evolve, and I started working on it for almost 2 years. It was an idea for a year. And then finally I got the gumption and the people to help me with it. And people in the community kind of came and went, and they contributed in some way or form. But what really got me into helping other people was one of my mentors, Megan. She works here at the hub. She really pushed me to help other people. She really gave me the motivation to actually do it instead of just talking about it.
Local 12-step fellowships will be on hand for anyone seeking recovery for themselves or their loved ones. Vigen says the goal of Recovery Connection is to reach people who want help getting or staying sober by connecting them with local organizations.
The first day we have, speakers, we have fellowships that are going to be there. We have booths of information, and there's just going to be all day, and admission is free. We would just like people to put their name down so we can kind of keep track of how many people come through, to have kind of not necessarily a quota or anything, but just, and that's totally up to you. If you don't want to put your name down, that's up to you. But we just kind of want to see a starting point and see over the years, because this is going to be hopefully an annual, every year. And that's something we want to keep track of, how many people we're trying to help or how many people showed up. It's in the name Recovery Connection. We're trying to connect people to other people. There's all kinds of different programs, all kinds of different help that I became aware of when I put this event together. I didn't know about before, and I've been in recovery for almost 2 years. And I'm just now learning about these programs, whether they're government funded or just, helping hands. There's a lot of help out there for us, not just for natives either. And it's for people in recovery, mostly. There's transition re-entry programs, because a lot of us come from institutions when we get sober, and we don't know the bridge to get back. And there's a lot of programs out there that are not talked about as much as other programs. And we're trying to get them all together in one place so it's easier for the person that's new in recovery to find those outlets. And that was something I thought we needed as a whole. And a big part of my committee are people, natives, and we have different ethnicities on my committee here, and they are just doing wonderful, honestly. And it's just bringing everyone together, whether they're from different tribes, from MHA to Standing Rock to, just regular people. There are a lot of sober livings that are going to be there with their information, how to get into sober living, what they can contribute. I know there is a lot of outreach from fellowships that are going to be there as well. I do believe F5 is a re-entry program to basically help you with what they can.
And lastly, MHA citizen Garrett Vigen, creator of a first-of-its-kind conference, leaves us with why this is so important to him.
And what I'm trying to achieve is hope and inspiration, because I'm just a normal guy that's looking for recovery and wants to help other people. And I want to show that that's possible through anyone. One person with an idea can move mountains.
In North Dakota, the ancestral homelands of the Nue'ta Nation, Vincent Moniz, ICT News.
It has been a particularly dangerous summer for fires across the globe. Some 370 wildfires are burning across Canada, and smoke from those fires has impacted tribal nations in Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Some communities have canceled their events, and others are utilizing emergency response funding to get air purifiers. In British Columbia, more than 27,000 people are under evacuation orders because of fires in the southern part of the province. ICT's Jovan Wagner is in Missoula, Montana, and joins us now virtually with more. Thank you for joining us today, Jovan.
It's good to be here.
How's your air today there in Missoula, Montana?
You know, it's doing better. We got some rainstorms last week, but you can still see the haze in the distance, especially looking west. So right now it's 52, which is moderate, but smoke still lingers.
I understand that the Nez Perce tribe, which is just over the mountain from Missoula in Idaho, has been hit hard by fires coming from nearby as well as from Washington and Canada. What are you hearing from there?
Yeah, absolutely. The tribe's emergency planning program coordinator, Jovan Wagner, spoke with us, and he said that the tribe actually got allotted some funding from the state, about $40,000, and that helps the tribe to purchase air purifiers for vulnerable members of their community. He also said that the tribe did provide classes for members to help them learn how to make their own at-home air purifiers with fans and air filters. So that's pretty great to hear.
In Montana, the Blackfeet tribe also has its own measuring system for air quality. What are the advantages of that, and tell us more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke with Tony Sinclair Sr., who is the tribe's air quality program coordinator, and he said that the tribe has actually been monitoring the air quality index for the past 30 years. He said that this resource is a great piece for for educating the community. It records the air quality every day, and from that data, he prints it out into charts, and he goes through the community educating, the schools and elderly about how to stay safe and healthy during the smoky season.
A study by the Environmental Protection Agency says that summer heat can cause many problems, ranging from respiratory problems to an increase in mosquitoes. Does this match what you've been hearing about this summer?
I have not been hearing something that specific with mosquitoes, but I do know that at-risk people, such as people that suffer from asthma, as well as high blood pressure and diabetes, are at higher risk with this smoke. Like Tony Sinclair Sr. said, you don't really live long if you're breathing in unhealthy air.
Are people at all talking about climate change being a driver in the summer's scorching temperatures?
Absolutely. We are starting to see longer, drier summers, which obviously means longer fire season. And that means more fires are popping up throughout the state, as well as Canada, as well as the United States.
As you were talking to these sources, what were some of the things that stood out to you most about what they had to tell you?
Absolutely. I believe it was how impacted the communities are getting. High school athletes are, practicing now for their fall sports, as well as elders in the community who seem to be getting the most from this smoke. So it's always communities looking out for each other, trying to figure out what's best to protect each other from the smoke, as well as preventative measures such as air purifiers.
Have you heard at all anything about different communities like elders or children who could be impacted from low air quality?
Absolutely, yeah. So up on the Blackfeet Reservation, it's the students, it's the youth, and it's the elders that are definitely getting the brunt of the smoke. If it's too unhealthy, then the students can't practice or get their exercise enough for their sports. And elders are always at risk, so keeping them inside longer, which also affects their health as well.
Something that's really interesting is that it's, of course, powwow season, and so many of these events are held outside.
Absolutely, yeah. And for the most part, events events over in Spokane have been postponed due to the smoke, which is unfortunate because this is peak powwow season.
Have you had the chance to attend any powwows recently?
I actually went to the Montana Two Spirit gathering, which was over on the Flathead Lake, and we did experience quite a bit of smoke out there. But the gathering was safe. They took precautions, and it went on pretty well, pretty great.
Jovan, tell us what else you are working on and that we can see soon on our website.
Absolutely, yeah. So the Montana Two Spirit Society hosted their gathering, and that includes welcoming in different Two Spirit societies throughout the country to come and educate each other, support each other, and educate. It was a great experience to be able to cover that, and that'll be soon available to read on ICT.
Well, Jovan Wagner, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely, thank you.
And that's a slice of our Indigenous world. For all the latest, visit ictnews.org. From all of us in the newsroom, stay safe, my relatives.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.